Hello, my convicts, convicts. Yes, it is I, the Kappa convict. Welcome, welcome. Today, I kind of want to discuss a couple of things that I need to do at the moment. Not based on obviously the other problem that's happening right now, but based on what happened during playing multiverses yesterday, and having Catherine coming in and just taking random pictures, which just doesn't make sense. She's done this before and said that she's going to report me for doing what I'm doing, even though there's nothing to report about it. It's just basically me just trying to obviously do something else with my life and obviously keep myself busy and looking after Rio. However, her attitude and behavior over the years has been very erratic, as I always if I use a reference, I usually reference quite literally to Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, something I've put up with for the 8 years or plus that I've had to put up with Catherine. She's got a very strange demeanor about her where she's okay and the next minute she's not. And it's become apparent and it's become more and more diminishing on my self, not self-esteem, but more on my mental health, to the state where I'll just go to the point where it's getting worse and worse and worse. And the more she gets worse about it, the more it stresses me out, to the point that I just get more frustrated and annoyed with it. And just go to the point now where it's like, how much more can I put up with this particular way that she's behaving and the way that she acts? It just drives me crazy. From 1 minute she's okay, next minute she's not. 1 minute she's okay, next minute she's not. And then obviously with her doing what she does, where she goes to work 24/7, then she'll come home and she'll complain that I'm not working. And then I've gone and got jobs in the past that were part-time. Then I've had to leave those jobs because she's then said, well, I'm not making enough money. So then I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? So then I've actively gone, okay, then I'll leave and I'll just go back to looking after Rio because I was doing part-time work. That doesn't give a lot of money. And I was going and doing them anyway, just for the sake of saying, okay, I'm going out to work, getting some money, coming home and doing, what I can do with that money if I was doing it. And then obviously I was then sorting other stuff out for other things, like I've got 3 other children that I pay for, sort of thing, and sending them money and what have you in the past. And it's been really, really weird because her behavior has just gone down, down, down. Sometimes it's just like, I've asked many times, it's like, okay, well, I'm looking after Rio. Why don't you just go get another house, go live somewhere else? And then obviously Rio can stay here with me. You can see him whenever you want to. I don't put any restrictions. I'm not going to do what my ex did to me, and obviously due to the point where she's stopped me from having contact or anything like that. My ideology as I've grown up, as I also was a child who parents divorced when I was 6 months old. I could go see them whenever I wanted to. I was never restricted, never told no. If you want to go see your dad, go see your dad. The only restriction I ever had was if you're at school, obviously school is school. If you're not at school, then that's fine. You go see dad whenever you want to, as long as you want to. You just go. Just get on the bus, go. And this is something I've always had through my childhood, and this is how I got brought up. To understand, obviously, yep, stuff happens, but you move on, and obviously you can work together and just look after each other and whatnot, and do what you can. Now, luckily for my dad, my brothers and my sister, as I've got 3 other male siblings and 1 female sibling who stayed with my dad because they had a choice, and they deemed that it was unfair what my mum did to my dad, and they obviously stayed with my dad. So I ended up being like an only child, kind of in a sort of way, when obviously living with my mum and stepdad. But like I said, they never had any issues. I could go and see my parents when each other whenever they wanted to. There was no restriction or anything like that. So everything seemed to be fine, as good as it could be. So there's never been really any problems. However, Um, Due to unfortunate circumstances with the ex, she stopped me from seeing the kids. We did go to court and everything was sorted. Now there was times where I couldn't make it. Either the car broke down, or I was not very well. I was trying to look after my car and do what I could with them. I was buying cars very cheap just to keep and run them because I just didn't have the money. I wasn't working. I was under a lot of pressure, a lot of mental, um, you know, mental health drain, and obviously I would say like borderline depression because I was trying to be there every single week, see them, spending everything I had just to go see them, to then not have no money to rely on others to have to help me, so on and so forth, and kind of go every day and every day through that and just try my best to do what I could, which wasn't, wouldn't help. And if I was working, obviously because my mind's elsewhere, makes it very difficult for someone to be able to focus on work when you're constantly thinking, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do now? Sort of thing. Anyway, that was about that. But specifically about this situation, again, if you didn't know, I was playing Multiverses yesterday, and she just come in the room randomly, just opens the door, and you see when I notice her. Now, it didn't pick up her voice due to obviously how I've set up my uh, my microphone here, because obviously I use my microphone to be able to block out stuff and things like that, especially when Rio's playing music and it's going to get me demonetized and stuff because of music. But because of the way she behaves, and like I said, she's done this in the past, and she's called me not a man and stuff like that. She's condescended me quite often. She belittles me quite often. She talks to me like I'm stuck to her shoe, and I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get this demonetized. She just behaves in such a weird way. She's told me to leave many, many times. It's like, well, why am I leaving? It's like, yeah, if I leave, is it real? And it's like, no, no. See you in court. See you in court. I'll see you in court. I'll see you in court. And repetitively like that, just going all, for hours, going, see you in court. I'll see you in court. And it's just stupid, idiotic, and brainless. And I just feel like like I've said before, many, many times, I feel like I'm banging my head against a wall when it comes to it. And it stresses me out and it annoys me. And then things settle down, things kind of go back to normal. We kind of go back to the normal thing of I do little bits here and there, and then she does what she wants. And how I've always said before is we share the house. You live your life, I live my life. You want to meet someone, go meet someone. If I want to meet someone, I'll meet someone. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not bothered. I don't have a relationship with her. And I've told her that I don't have a relationship. I'm not in a relationship. I'm single. You're single. We share the house. That's it. That's where it ends. The only person we talk about that means anything between us both is Rio. That is it. Simple as. Anything above beyond that doesn't matter because it's nothing to do with anyone else. What I'm doing doesn't matter. What you're doing doesn't matter to me because we're separate people. We live our own lives. The only person who is important is obviously Rio, and obviously making sure that things are good for Rio and the way things are, which they are good because generally it's not generally when Rio's here, but obviously the atmosphere of her behavior can probably be something to look at. And obviously, from my viewpoint, where I have stated and said to her, you can't behave weird because obviously that's going to affect the atmosphere of the house, and if you're being weird, then that affects Rio. So yeah, it's kind of been topsy turvy for many, many, many years, but I generally don't let it affect me, and I just get on with things. I'm not a person that just going to sit there and do nothing. I tend to try and think of other things to do and try and keep my mind focused and forward facing on to all the topics I want to do. So that's the be all and end all. That's like the meat and potatoes of the idea without going too much in depth. However, obviously that and the recent problems that's come up with the channel around Adam and stuff hasn't been too much of a problem, but obviously is another weight which can weigh down on somebody. But all in all, that kind of thing I can deal with. It's just with Catherine and her behaviour, and like I said, coming in, and she's done this before where she's come in, she's taken pictures, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm going, and then she said, oh, I'm going to report you. I'm going to report you. I'm like, what? To who? For what? Exactly. What? What am I doing wrong? So she's, I don't know. She's just very bizarre. And like I said, one month she's okay. She's wanted me to take her places and drop her off and whatnot. We went on a 3-day holiday very recently that she had to do because she wanted to go away for a week abroad, but we couldn't do it because she couldn't get the visa to be able to do that. So we went for 3 days away on it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which is why I didn't stream on the Monday. Um, and yeah, so we just went to a caravan for 3 days. She wanted a break. We stayed there for a couple of days, did a couple of things, and then come back. But now she's doing stuff like that, and I don't know. I don't know if it's because she's going in, she's asking people questions where she works, and they're telling her weird stuff, and then she's kind of thinking, "Oh yeah, I can do that," and then she's coming home, and you can tell when there's a problem because she goes silent, and she just basically just goes in and just completely blanks me and then just goes off and does whatever, and I'm like, well, okay, whatever. Anyway, so explaining all that, there's a couple of things I want to do right now. Today is not to live stream. I'm going to be a bit late. I will apologize. This will be late out. I'm going to try and post a quick video or a quick thing just saying there's a video coming out. I won't be live streaming today. Watch it and try and post it so it quickly goes out, which I'll do in a moment. So yeah, I'm not sure what I want to do at the moment. I want to take a little bit of a break. Firstly, it's because I need to sort out something in terms of living arrangements and possibly looking at getting a car and doing a few other bits and pieces that need to sort of help me mentally to distance myself from this kind of problem, because it's something that's not going to go away. It's just going to get worse. And you get to a point in your life where you've had so much abuse and you've had so much like mental and verbal abuse that you get to a point where you start twisting inside, and then you just get to the point where you just like, you know, it just takes one moment and then just snap sort of thing. I try to do the best for Rio. I do this because I like it, I enjoy it, it's fun, it's something I can do on the side. Also helps a little bit with my mental health, and obviously helps with the fact that I can do stuff and make a little bit of something from it as well. And then obviously when I get bigger and get to a point where I could do it more full time, then obviously, you know, push on to do a lot more things I want to do, like the charity work I've always wanted to do, obviously supporting me and my family more than often, and whatnot. But at the moment, with the way it is with Catherine, I just can't do these things, and I just feel like every time I'm recording now, I'm going to be looking behind me, going, "Is she coming in? Is she coming in?" Sort of thing. And it you know, we talked about doing a shed outside sort of thing, but I didn't really want to waste money on something that, if in case I did move, I would have to then try and somehow move that. I just kind of wanted to go full hog and kind of go to another place where I can be myself and what have you. The only obviously big kind of stepping stone right now that's going to be a problem with that is the fact that I'm going to have to try and figure out what we do about Rio. This is the big problem, because obviously if I leave here and I move, I can't really take him with me because I don't have a place to move to. So we go back to the point of her behavior, how that's going to be affected if I do that, to her saying, right, you're not seeing Rio, and then going back through square one of what we've done with my previous relationship and how it's affected them and me in terms of that again, and how it continues to affect them and how they've turned more against me as a person now because they don't know me. And you know, even though I still send them birthday and Christmas gifts every year, I still interact with them as much as I possibly can and as much as I could. I was having them every single week when, you know, we first split up and I was doing play centers and stuff every single week. And then it went to fortnight to monthly, just purely because I couldn't afford to do it. And I wasn't working, so, you know, the money I was getting was very little at that time. And, you know, for the ages now that they're at, obviously it's been, you know, another toll on top of that kind of weight, that obviously having my 18-year-old daughter turn to me and say, I don't want anything to do with you, even though I haven't done anything wrong. I've had her every single week. I've always tried to interact with them, always tried to have them. It was the mum that stopped the contact due to the fact that I couldn't make it to Thomas's birthday one day, and it was one time, and said, can you not bring him here? And she refused to do that. I said, right, that's it. That's contact ended. And it's all due down to not having enough money. I had £10, and I just had Catherine for the other £10. She refused and said, no, I can't give it you. I don't have it, even though the day before we kind of argued about credit cards. And I just said, just be careful getting too. All I said really was, just be careful with credit cards. Don't get too many out, because it does soon ramp up. And, you know, when you get into a lot of debt, it's pretty difficult to get out, especially with credit cards. And she took that apparently as a aggressive attack on her, apparently, and then started kicking off. And the next day when it came to it, like I said, with the £10, she said she didn't have it. By rightly so, she did pay for a visa to obviously continue a visa, because I don't pay for that. She pays for that herself. But the fact that I'm pretty sure she did have that money, but refused to do it purposely, and then obviously that's what lost the contact, and then obviously contact was stopped due to that. And obviously it's something I've had to live with years of that, and then obviously with everything else, and then all the other stuff coming on top, and then me getting jobs and having to leave jobs, which up to 3 jobs I had. I was a cleaning manager, I was a supervisor at 2 places, and all these 3 jobs I've had to leave due to Catherine and saying, oh, well, we need more money. So yeah, I don't really know what to say or suggest, but it's just got to a point now where I just need to sort out what I need to do. So I'm gonna have a look around now, see what I can do in terms of funds, what funds I can get from somewhere. I might have to borrow some money and see what we can do. But I think at the moment right now, I just need to take a little bit of a break just to sort of see what we can do. Probably not like too long a break. Probably maybe these couple of days. If we can do it today and the next Saturday, Sunday, which I don't know, Saturday, Sunday I probably won't be able to do to it being a weekend, but maybe a couple of days next week. So maybe midweek next week, or maybe all next week, and then we'll come back the week after. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Because obviously I've got the Adam thing that's cropped up, which has been another sort of like weight put on. But that's not generally been too bad. You know, there is a couple of things that I feel were a little bit over the top, but that's just me. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here because I'm actually overdue to live stream, so I'm going to just quickly try and record and send it out so it goes out as recording so people see it. But yeah, I'm just going to take a little bit of a break and kind of reevaluate my situation. I need to definitely look into moving, and you know, trying to put myself in a much neutral place where I feel more comfortable and not feel like I'm in my own house but not in my own house, which is how it feels. Like I'm here but I don't feel like I can be myself here. It's just kind of weird. And obviously with Catherine's behavior and the way she is, which is a very, very strange individual that needs a lot of help, I think, and it's something I can't deal with myself, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, it is I, Kappa, signing out. Salute. speak to you soon. Sorry, apologize, and hopefully we can come back soon. Bye for now.